episode 143 of the Super Parent Syndrome, and I'm your host, Dr. Nick Fanning. This is the podcast where we help parents parent themselves. Today's episode is Stick Rewards, or Choose Rewards, and Stick to Them. Sit back, relax, let's get started.
Parenting in the 21st century is ever evolving, and while you balance work, kids, and your sanity, it's easy to feel discouraged. Welcome to the Super Parent Syndrome with your host, Dr. Nick Fanning.
So here is the thing. I have casually mentioned this over and over again in several other episodes, but I have never actually highlighted it. So this is that episode. Now, when you start to set targets, now I like saying targets versus goals. Goals are just, hey, they're great. I mean, it's all right. But the new catchphrase I want to use is targets because they're laser focused. You're trying to hit the bullseye. No room for error. This is what you're doing. Now, when you set targets, I want you to first write down a why to it and then also attach a reward to it. Now, the reason why you're going to write down the why to it is that when you look back, you'll understand why it was so important to you at the time, because your mindset is going to change over the course of this time, especially when you set your goals. So that your goal time frame might be 2 weeks, it might be 30 days, it might be 60 days, it might be 90 days. It could be a whole year. Hopefully you're choosing something a little bit more short term. And let's say you have a big goal and then you have these little kind of markers along the way. So let's say you set a goal for 90 days. Well, I hope that you have benchmarks set up along the way at 30 days, 60 days, or even at 2 weeks so that you can understand, am I on target or am I not? Okay. Now, here's the thing. When you do that, I want you to write all these details down. Again, target, the why, and the date, and the reward. And then I want to make sure that you're posting this in numerous places. It could be on your phone. It could be at your bathroom mirror. It could be at your office. I want these all over because I want you being constantly reminding yourself what's at stake and why you're doing and what you're doing it for. So that way, one, if there are people bringing up activities or things that might distract you from this goal, you can easily see this. You can easily remind yourself and you'll stay on task. Now, here's the thing. When you achieve this goal, I want you sticking to the reward that you wrote down. It's very important because as you change into this new person that is required in order to make this goal happen, well, hindsight-wise, you're going to be like, yeah, this is no big deal. You know, I accomplished something, but yet, you know, at the end of this, not a big deal, or it was a small victory, or, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. This wasn't as hard. Now, here's the thing. It's crazy because I can guarantee that most of the time you've actually, as you've achieved or won things, you've actually downplayed those victories, claiming it to be small or no big deal, or maybe you beat this team and you're like, it's because they were injured or because they weren't there playing at their very best, where in reality, really, you kicked some serious ass. So here's the thing. As you tackled those daily steps, you started to grow. You started to grow bigger and a better version of yourself. And I like it to look at, or I liken it as in if you were climbing a mountain. So look at this big old mountain. And this mountain, of course, is a euphemism or a simile for a big target of yourself. Okay, so when you're at the very bottom of the mountain, you're looking up, you're like, holy moly, that's a big mountain. There's pretty steep. There's some jagged rock. It looks like I could fall. This is going to really be tough. This is really going to stink. Okay, now, as you climb that mountain, and you're tackling, you know, step by step, and some steps are easy, some steps are really, really hard. Sometimes it's really easy to look back at base camp and want to go back. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you continue going on. Now, here's the thing. The person that you were at the bottom of the mountain is dead and gone. And the person that climbed the mountain and is looking from the top has a totally different perspective. Now at the end of 2 weeks, 30 days, 90 days, whatever it might be. They have a totally new perspective because they're a totally different person. And from the top you can actually see, oh, this isn't the whole mountain. This is just one of those peaks. There's actually a bigger mountain right over here, or several big mountains right over here. Because from the top of that mountain, you realize you can keep going, that you have the choice of going for bigger and even better. And it's because of that, that's why we try to downplay the peak that we just climbed. So again, because you have written down the reason why this is important to you, you can get back into the mindset of how important it really was. And then you realize, oh, that's why I set this reward, because, yeah, I am a badass. Yeah, I totally did this. So again, to reiterate, You're going to set a target, and you're going to declare why it's important to you. Then you're going to set a date, then a reward, and you're going to write it down and post it all over. And then when you win, very simply, you're going to celebrate. And do not cheapen that win. If you can stick to those things, it's going to keep you from burning out, because as we burn out, we're kind of like, man, what are we doing this for? I'm just working. And it doesn't seem like anything really improves, because as soon as I get one thing done, two other things pop up, and I'm just exhausted. And that's because you did not stop to celebrate your wins. You did not stop to have the ice cream. You did not stop to have the vacation. You didn't stop to say, you know what? Hey, I am pretty kick-ass. That was pretty badass. I got that done. Instead, you're looking at the top of your peak, looking at all the other ones, and you're downplaying your victories. So instead, today, declare, nope, that's not going to happen. We're at the very beginning of quarter 2, and this is the perfect time to declare some big goals and big targets for yourself. Because if you can do that, imagine what life will be in May, June, July. You're going to have a pretty amazing start to 2019. So I hope this helps. And of course, make sure you check out Pep Talk for Parents and check out our free newsletter. Until next time, folks, this is Dr. Nick Fanning signing off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Super Parent Syndrome. Please be sure to visit peptalksforparents.com for more content and our free newsletter. And remember, you are not alone.